Hello there, it's good to be back and welcome. I have something a bit different for me today. Yes, it's a Tamiya, but it's a Tamiya Mini 4-wheel drive. Never had one of these before. Today we're going to unbox it and hopefully upgrade it. And I say hopefully, and you'll find out why later. Before I go into it, I should just explain what a Mini 4-wheel drive is to those of you who don't know. Superficially, it resembles something like Skeletrix. You have a track, little cars zipping around it, and you have no control over the steering. But it doesn't have a slot. Skeletrix or slot cars got a slot, that's how you keep them on the track. The track is walled. It's got walls there, so each lane has got its own specific walls that keeps the car. Should theoretically keep it on track, but the tracks on these are quite extreme. They are looping and there's literal jumps where they get air, etc. So you do leave the track. And then there's a crossover. So once you do a lap, this car crosses into this lane, this one goes into this lane, and then this one goes all the way to this lane. And over the course of the whole race, every car does the same distance. But the main difference between this and Skeletrix is you have no control over this once it starts. Skeletrix, you have the throttle, no steering obviously. This, you don't. You literally release the cars and they're off. The competition is in the pit lane. And I find that quite fascinating because what you need to do is configure your car to best suit the track. So the person who wins is the person who's done the best job setting the car up and configuring it to whatever track that they're about to race on. So there's all of it's technical and none of it's driving skill, as opposed to that sort of racing with touring cars where, or they're probably out the shop, but that sort of racing with touring cars where it's part driving skill and part technical skill. So it's quite interesting. I don't have the ability to use this because I don't have any track and I don't at all have the room to make one. But I saw them and they're not expensive and I just thought this looked so cool. I just wanted to try one out, even just for display for a while. And then one day, hopefully, Rachel and I have enough money to get a place where there's spare room where I can do things like I'd love to build a double gauge railway set, and I would love to build one of these tracks. But anyway, this is the Viento, which is a car, I mean, it's stunning. It's a classic looking car with white wall tyres, probably 60s, I think, 50s, 60s design. But this is the Japan Cup 2019 colours. I think it usually comes in a sort of pastel green colour, but I really like the colours on this one. This is a, what was it called again? FMA chassis, which is one of the 3 newest chassis designs, I believe. And the FMA means it's front mounted motor. It's got a front mounted motor, it's got forward weight biased, but they're all 4-wheel drive. Now, I mentioned hopefully upgrading. Yes, I ordered the car and I ordered some upgrades. I ordered a faster motor, I ordered an upgrade kit specific to the FMA chassis. I ordered some stronger gears, I ordered some bearings, and all that arrived in the package was this. So I'm hoping that everything I ordered has been placed inside this box and then retaped. I've got no idea. Fingers crossed, because it would be a bit of a shame if the seller, because it's a legitimate shop, it's not just some eBay seller or whatever, has screwed up and sent me only the car. Because the cars are not expensive. The cars are about £12 retail. And overall, I think it was about £53 with all the upgrades, because I can't help myself. Even for something I can never really use, or may well never use. How do I unlock this knife again? There it is. Put that out of the way. So, here we go. FMA chassis, Tamiya Mini 4-wheel drive. Oh! I see upgrades. I see upgrades, I think. So these come as a kit that you assemble, but you don't need any glue for. Apparently you do need paint, but I mean, the colours on this shell are, I believe, stickers, and the rest of it's black, so I'm happy with that. I think that looks cracking, so I'll just leave it that colour. Fluorine coated steel bearing, right, okay, so the bearings are included, good. Second gear set for FMA chassis. Whoa! I'm vaguely remembering why I ordered this, because I don't get to use all the gears. I think it's because the black gears are tougher than the standard drive gears, and therefore you want to use them instead. I can't remember. I was on night shift, it was late, I was tired, the boat was rolling, that makes you even more tired, and for some reason I ordered this. Basic tune-up part set, I do remember that. Basic tune-up part set for this. Wow, it's very involved. Didn't think it was as involved in this. So you've got some lovely parts. It looks like carbon fibre, or maybe not, maybe some sort of composite. I don't think it's carbon fibre, maybe. Lightweight parts, lower friction parts, I guess, as well. And there's my faster motor, atomic tuned 2 motor. Now this this Enterprise, Tamiya Mini 4-wheel drive, has 3 main classes. There's the stock class, which, as it sounds, you buy a car, you buy a kit, and you run it as is. Second class is, I believe it's the modified class. I might be getting the class names wrong, but I'll give you the general gist. Second class and modified class, where you can modify them, you can use these sort of things, faster motors, these sort of things, upgraded kit parts, but they must be genuine off-the-shelf parts, and you can't modify the bodywork in any way in terms of trimming it away and changing the aerodynamics, etc. And then the third class is, I believe, the opening class or something, where you can go nuts and do whatever you want and trim it up and give it spoilers and all sorts. Now this is, I'm building this polystyrene. I'm building this to be a sort of modified class, second class. So it's modified, but it's not extreme. That's bigger than I thought it was going to be. Definitely bigger than I thought it was going to be. Is slightly larger scale, I think, than a Scalextric's car. Is it? Possibly? Scalextric's is actually quite hard to say because people call it Scalextrics, but there's an X in the middle. Scalextric's, or there's an S in the middle, whatever it is. Scalextric's. Anyway, I think it's wider. I think it's wider than a Scalextric's car. I think the wheels are definitely bigger. Yeah, I think it's a different scale whatsoever, completely. So there's the chassis. You see the motor goes on this side, so it's a front motor, front mounted motor. And these are the tyres, which are disappointingly plastic. I thought they would be rubber tyres, because there's compounds, there's softer, hard, or medium hard, super hard. It could be that the super hards are plastic and the rest are rubber, I don't know, because how would you get different plastic compounds for tyres? But these ones, it says here somewhere, super hard, small diameter, low profile tyre, it says there, right there in the box. So, goodness knows, really, goodness knows. All I know is these are on a burr or on a sprue, so, sorry, they're on a sprue. I'm going to try and avoid burrs, and they're definitely plastic. That's disappointing, but whatever. And that means I'm just going to get, if I ever put a track, I'm just going to get loads of wheel spin. Pretty cool, but a lot more involved than I thought. Which is good, really, because you want it to be involved. Especially since the reason it's so intricate and the reason there's so much to it is because there's posts coming through the door, that's why. No, it's because, like I said, the racing, essentially, the competition's done in the pit lane. So it's got to be more involved than the likes of Scalextric's, because you got to have all those customizations, otherwise where's the competition, you know what I mean? Pretty cool. Anyway. What? What are you on about? Nothing's changed. It's all good. Everything's the same. Alright. Okay, I will admit, it's a little bit later. Just a little bit later, as in ever so slightly, a little bit, almost a week and a half later. Yeah, it's fine. I've done it. So, distraction. No, okay. I realised I needed to paint the silver chromey parts. The chrome in the picture. I went to the Warhammer shop. They don't do chrome, but they had the silver, which was pretty close. I mean, it's It's not bad, is it? So I had to paint the stripe down the bonnet here, the little emblem, around the lamps, around the bottom fog lights. I suppose they're supposed to be fog lights, the rear lights. I had to paint the, supposed to be soft top, the roof there. It's supposed to be a sort of convertible, or at least a soft top. I don't know if it is a convertible. It's a bit lighter than the suggested colours from Tamiya. If I use Tamiya paints, I'd have slightly different colours, more chrome and less sort of dark brown and more sort of tan. But I actually like it. I don't want it to be bright. I want it to be dark and sinister, because Baron Viento sounds, it's fantastic. I could just picture it being a really aristocratic, wealthy supervillain, you know, like if Dick Dastardly was not only extremely wealthy but competent, he would be Baron Viento. So yeah, I think it's great. I think it looks fantastic. The stickers are spot on, and there's somebody making noise outside. The stickers are spot on. The stickers are spot on. They're perfect. Typical Tamiya quality. They fit perfectly. For example, this sticker is quite long. It goes all the way along here and up over the arch, and actually across the front as well. And there's a few different changes. You know, there's a cutout here, then the body goes lower, then it goes along, and it all fits to the millimetre. It's impressive for something that costs £12 retail. It comes with this hard shell, it comes with all the stickers, it comes with the wheels and the tyres and the chassis and the parts. Speaking of tyres, they are rubber, thank goodness. I don't know why they were on a sprue, like they were plastic, but the sprue was rubber, so you cut them off and we have rubber tyres. Speaking of, white walled tyres on chromed wheels. That's going to look fantastic with this build, isn't it? It's going to look so good. But it begs the question, going back, I'm sorry, I've got a throat squeak. I've had my third booster yesterday, and I feel terrible. It's, for some reason I react to these boosters or these vaccinations quite badly. So anyway, I've got a sore throat and I've got a stonking headache and I feel achy all over, which is why. Anyway, I could have waited till the throat sweep was finished, but I am pushed for time, damn it. Lots of things going on. Christmas is coming up, I've got to get the house ready. I've got a small gap right now while Rachel's at work, so she doesn't come on and go, I'm home, and ruin the video. But anyway, it looks great, but it begs the question, why is it that on a £12 thing, with everything, I mean, it's got everything, it's got the motor, it's got the gears, it's got the chassis, it's got the body, it's got everything. Why is it they can take the time and the effort to cut the stickers out for you on this, but when you buy an RC car worth 100 plus with an included shell, or you buy a shell on its own that's what, £30–40 only on its own, they can't be bothered cutting the stickers out for you? I mean, if there was one complaint I have about Tamiya kits in the RC space, is the fact that they look great, but you got to cut the stickers out for you. You got to cut them out yourself, sorry, and a lot of other manufacturers do it for you, and it just makes it so much easier to build, and it doesn't cost them so much more money because they can get it laser cut quite easily. Anyway, rant over. It looks fantastic. The Japan Cup 2019 is the one I went for. It's a limited edition. The Baron Viento is available in a standard colour, but I thought this looks so sinister. It looks so good. There's clearly a super villain in there. Fantastic. Now, we're going to build it, but I read online that the standard pinion gears are often purple and terrible, which is why you get the black upgrade ones. And I've bought the upgrade gear set. This is my stuff. Where's the gear set? Oh, I left it over there. I left it all behind the cap. Excuse me. I bought this gear set, part number 15516, because apparently it has the uprated black pinions, which it does, but my car actually has black pinion, not a purple one. So that kind of negates that. This is for adjusting your gear ratios. You can give it a higher or lower gear ratio. I wanted to stick it standard just now. I don't want to play around with that just now. But the website also said there are uprated gears. I don't know what that means, because we have the various colours talking about the various gear ratios, but is there an equivalent, a one-to-one equivalent of these, which is a different colour and is maybe stronger? I don't know. Anyway, we're going to upgrade it as we go along. I have everything here I need, I think. and we're just going to crack on and see where we get to. Hopefully we'll get a working car. And then I need to track down some nice, probably Duracells and energizers or something, because we have some cheap batteries in here, but I suppose because this runs directly off of AA's, 2 AA's to power it, I suppose the better the AA, the better performance, even if it's only marginal. Okay, step 1, take the chassis. Gear G2, which is the orange one. Now, here's the, get rid of that, it's an upgrade thing. Gears, I might need to build it with the upgraded gears and then look at the upgrades, because jumping between which parts, I mean, it's going to be more difficult. So yeah, I'll maybe take it, maybe build it and then take it apart if I need to fit the extras that are nice. That's the plan, because I don't know when to stop following this and jump to this, if that makes sense. Right, so it says take the orange gears. Now this is my bag of standard gears. Now these orange gears have got writing on them, tiny writing, 39 I believe. Quite see, there's so much reflection off the bag. Yep, 39 6 minus 2, or G-2 maybe. So is there an equivalent in this? Make sure I can't get these two bags of stuff confused. I need to keep these completely separate. Because, for example, there's the prop shaft, and then there's prop shaft to come with it, with the grey ones. What's better, the blue ones or the grey ones? I have no idea. This does come with a bearing. Where does the bearing go? No idea. G9, okay, so these are G's. It's a G, it's not a 6. G2, we don't have a G2 in there. G2 orange used as a spare. So there's a G2, it's not an operated one. Alright. Just having a quick squiz through this. The spur gear is the yellow one. That's the same as the one that comes with this. So there's not an upgraded spur gear, there's just various spur gears for different gearing ratios. Like I said, 3, 5, 1, 3.5 to 1, 3.7 to 1, 4 to 1, 4.2 to 1, 5 to 1. We'll keep the gearing the way it is just now. However, if there's no bearing included with the standard kit, we'll definitely use a bearing. What it does say here, without explaining why, is you see propeller shaft, switch the grey for the blue. It just says that, it just states it, just switch it over. Don't know why, but we'll definitely follow the instructions, because apparently it's better, so we'll do that. But in the meantime, the orange is the one to use here. So we need to use the orange and the yellow spur in the first part. Yellow spur, yellow spur, yellow spur, yellow spur though. Would you just, right, okay, yellow spur. Now, well, it sits loose in there because it wants to, I guess. And then the other G2, I'm guessing they sit loose. So they just sit loose in the chassis. I'm guessing the prop shaft holds them in the correct way. A bit like when you put the output shafts on the differential of a Tamiya TL01. The bearings and everything, gears are all floating loose, and then you put the output shaft in it and it all lines it up. It could be something similar. This goes in there and under the Gouda, and yeah, okay, yeah, that's a thing. That's definitely a thing that sits, and good. I don't know how the spur is supposed to turn everything else, because I guess it's a sort of crown gear. The orange one's a crown gear, can run off this center shaft, but the spur just sits next to it and is currently completely oblivious and does nothing. But that's fine. We'll add a little bit of grease. Not going to go overboard with the grease this time, as I usually do with such things. Now we need a switch terminal, which looks like these pieces of copper plate. Carry the current from the batteries to the motor. is this one. This is not this one, which is this one. And where the heck does that sit? That sits there. There. Let's say it with more conviction. There. Sits there. Sits there. Does sit there. It sits there. It sits there though. Yes. I mean, of course it sits there. Like, fine. Yeah, perfect. Perfect. Perfecto. Good. And then there's a A12, which is possibly plastic. Is this the A tray? It is. Nice plastics. I like it. Thought it'd all be one colour, but the black and white is going to be a nice contrast. A12. Why do we Tamiya, explain please. Why do we start with A12? I mean, if it's going to be the first part from the A3, possibly it makes sense to be A1. But whatever. No, I'm not going to argue with Tamiya. That's fine. I argue with Tamiya all the time. A12. Oh, that's the switch. That's the switch. Essentially, that's fine. That's the switch. Yeah, it's the switch. So basically, by switch, it's very crude, but I guess effective. So you got the switch there, the white part, and you just flick it, and it just bends this bit of copper to make contact with the batteries or not. Simple, very effective, very crude. But that's that was fine until the gear jumped out. Now it's just terrible. Now it's the worst design ever. There we go. Now it's fine. I don't think I've got enough grease on that. How did the grease end up on? I'm very clean and tidy when it comes to building stuff. I don't get everything everywhere at all. It's super disciplined, and everything goes fine and nothing ever goes wrong. So that's good. This is where A4, I believe, this is the next stage is attaching the wheels. A4 are these horrible little, see these horrible little donutty spacer things. I think those are the things I replaced with bearings. Pretty sure. There's a little packet of bearings. Yeah, they look the same. Let me open up, see if they're the same on the other side as well. Because that would be much better than these crappy little plastic washer bushing spacer friction fitting crap. Oh, they're not the same. They are the same. They're not the same. They're not the same. How do we? What are these? I'm struggling here a little bit. Right. Okay. That's fine. One of the upgrade kit thing has bearings in it. Does it have bearings in it? No. It does not. Where else could these 4 bearings go apart from on the wheels? It's got to be that. It's got to be. Where else would they go? What are you on about? I had this coffee the whole time. Anyway, I made a decision. I'm going to use those bearings. I can't see where else they would go, why there would be 4 of them other than on the car. There's 5 crappy little spacers, plastic spacers. 4 of them are for the wheels. And also there's one more, which I believe is for the, I think they call it the counter gear on the motor, or in the gearbox anyway. And I have a bearing, a singular bearing, which goes in that gear in this upgrade pack. So that only makes sense that these 4 are for the wheels and that one's for the gear. So let's do that. I don't need to use grease on the bearings. I know Tamiya always insists on that. Maybe not just Tamiya, but it's just not necessary to put grease on the bearings because they should really be sealed, at least to a reasonable degree. And it also says in the instructions to put the, I don't know what you would call it, but the the rod that goes through both wheels, straight through the bearings, through the differentials, the gears on the end of the prop shaft. At the same time, and I noticed this is the gear, this is the rod here. Sorry, it's hexagonal. The wheels themselves aren't. So you push that through, that goes all the way through, like that, and you push the wheels on at the same time. The wheels themselves are not. So essentially, it's almost like a self-tapper. These have got round holes, that's got a hexagonal hole, you push them on, and then it eats into the plastic of the wheels, and that's how it binds on. It's very, very basic, very, yeehaw cowboy almost. But I'm not mad about that, because I'm still, yes, they've got little cost-saving, cost-cutting measures like that, and like the floating gears, etc. And like the plastic donuts rather than bearings. But I'm still struggling to see where they can have this body shell, or any body shell, with these stickers, or any stickers, and a motor, and the gears, and everything, for £12 retail in 2021, almost 2022. It's still incredible value, so it's cool. They need cost-cutting measures, obviously. Let's see if we can just get that one very slightly started, and then push. I mean, did they slide back and forth? Is it like that? Let me just, before I commit to you, let me just double check. Yeah, I guess. It seems awfully long. Is there, I don't. Are they the same length, these two rods? I mean, they must be. Yes, these are the right rods. It's just, well, maybe it'll be alright. Maybe it'll be fine. Maybe just trust Tamiya, for goodness sake. Just trust them. Trust them, Mike. Trust them. We'll trust in the Tamiya. Would the Tamiya please be cooperative though? That'd be awesome. Right. Like that, and then we push them together, like so. Do we push them together? I guess we do. Why is that one not going in? Push. There we go. Push. Is that it? Still a bit of. It's supposed to have that much movement? Surely not. Surely not. Let's give it some more yeehaw. Give it some pachaw. Still a bit of movement. I don't know which one's which. I don't know which one is more in, which one's less in, but I guess maybe that's it. Maybe it's got a bit of side-to-sidey, because otherwise, how is it supposed to turn? These don't have servos or nothing. The wheels are straight, so maybe you need a little bit side by side to give it the freedom to take corners. We'll try the front one. Let's see, we have exactly the same results. Through the gears, through the spur, like that, then the wheels. Yeah, I think that little bit of movement is required for the whole thing to spin. A little bit of friction in it, but it's not too bad. Now that I've got the wheels on, I can turn these easier, so I'm going to try and re-grease these gears and actually get the grease working rather than just sitting and bunging up in a corner and not doing anything, because that's not good. Yeah, that's got to be. It's got to be. It's got to be. Now, A2, I'm going to close this down. To close back the back end down and hold the gears in place. Here's A2. Where's my snips? Where do I put them? Where? They've evaporated. Where? Oh, no, they're not. I just put instructions on top of them. I'm so organised though, haven't I? It's just an amazing amount of organisation. Blank and blank. You wouldn't be watching this YouTube channel if you expected somebody to do things in a nice orderly fashion. Or you're new here. Hi. Right. it should make a snap sound, and I'm expecting a satisfying snap sound. Right, it's this way down. And snap, without the obvious snap as in it's broken snap, but a nice clipped in snap. Here we are, that's the clipped in snap. Now the spur gear flashing, now the spur gear's on this end, but now the corresponding gear on this side is settled in, plugged in, and it won't jump out again. I'll turn around this way. Battery terminal. This is part number 7. Part number 7. These are not the most ergonomic instructions ever, but that's fine. Battery terminal A. Oh, there's 2. Battery terminal B. So we need to get A8 plastic thing. Good. It was there a second ago. That's fine. A8, which is this bobber, this motif over here. Here we go. And the 2 battery terminals. Now I think there's only 2 remaining. Here we have 2 copper battery terminals. How do they plug in? First one, take this here and this, and we drop that, which is part of it. It's all part of it. Like that. Then there's that. Oh, that goes on underneath. Like that. And then clip. Push in there, clip, clip, clip. Yeah. Okay, part 1. Part 2. Again, under there, and then this should clip. There we go. Nice. And then discard, because we need the motor. Now the motor that comes with it is this one. Classic Tamiya, regardless of what you get, it's a silver can with piss weak magnets. Of course it will be. And I bought this Atomic Tuned 2 motor, which is, there's 3 different tuned classes, to name the class, not modified class, tuned motors that you can buy, which are within the rules, I believe. And there's a high RPM variant, a high torque variant, and then there's this one, which is a balance between the 2. So this will have increased RPM and increased torque over the standard motor. Won't have as much torque as the, I believe it's a twin shaft one, so there's a different chassis that has a twin shaft, so the motor has 2 shafts, one at each end, and then you have corresponding gears at either side. And then that's the torque one, and then the RPM one, I believe, is this layout, but you have less torque and more RPM. But we'll use this one. Now I need to put the pinion on it. This is where you would upgrade if you had a, or you're supposed to upgrade if you have a purple pinion, because the black one's stronger or harder wearing or something. But we will use the black one that came with it because it has the upgrade. That's what I'm led to believe anyway. Do I push the pinion all the way onto the motor? I believe you push it until the edge of the pinion is flush with the top of the motor shaft. So let's do that. And that's exactly what that is. Nice snug fit, that's good, because there's no, they're both circular. It's purely friction fitting, so it needs to be snug. The picture has a bigger, has a lesser gap on the shaft underneath, but it also clearly shows that the end of the motor shaft has to be absolutely on level with the edge of the pinion here. So that's what we'll leave it. We'll leave it like that, and we'll see how it looks. Then we need to snap this sort of cradle that we built with the battery terminals. We need to snap this in place. Now, how do we snap this in place? This goes like that. And then where does the snap sound come from? Like that. Okay. Fine. Looks good. And then we again discard because we don't need it. Weird Tamiya stuff. A11, which is this plastic guard on the rear or front? Don't know. Front of the car. But I also, in the upgrade kit, have got, I've got something else, but I think it just bolts on top. So we'll leave that just now. We're going to build it as is just now with just the upgraded motor and upgraded gears and the bearings. And then I can't go too far wrong, and if I need to do some sort of modification afterwards, I can do. So this goes down on here. There's hooks on it, so do they do the thing? It's an underneathy bit, not an on toppy bit. That's the technical term, and that's what's wrong. There we are. But no, that goes on the top. Okay, we'll leave that. Get my screws. Two by 5 mils. Now, because there's a Tamiya, they look like Phillips, but they're not. They are Japanese industrial standard. And I hope my JIS screwdriver I have here is small enough for it. There's no washers required in this step. Come here. Right. And it's the outer one. Oh, these are magnetic too, aren't they? Bit snug. It's a little bit on the limit there, but we'll see. Well, maybe okay. And then it's the front ones that are screwing. Oh, that's fine. Absolutely spot on. I like how I'm making this little kit here, and like a bigger kit, a full-size kit, what you'd call a normal kit, there is no glue to put the bits together. It's all screws and friction fittings. You know, you build an RC car, there's no glue. It's all bolts and screws and such, and that's better. It's not like building a little Airfix tank or something where it's all glue, or at least almost all glue. Definitely don't want to put too much torque on that. Now we pick up the motor again, and that goes in one of the places of the car. It's got to be that way. Got to be that way. It has to be this way, because otherwise nothing works. It has to be this way, because then the battery terminals are actually on the batteries. The picture looks a bit weird. The picture's kind of got the motor at the wrong angle, but I believe it's supposed to be like this. So you've got the battery terminals forward where the double A's are. That makes absolute sense. The shaft of the motor sits in a little gap that's been cut in the plastic housing so that it doesn't rub. I think that's it. It's got to be it. So, what's next? A6. So we get this Audi, this A6, and we cut it out. And this is like a bonnet, but it goes below. No, it's more like an underfloor, a rear diffuser. That's what I'm going to say. Oh, it's on the front. Never mind. And then clip, I guess, or snap. Boom. Snap. Do the snappy thing. There it is. Yes. It's going to come together now. A3, we need another Audi. There's A3, there it is. This is quite cool. I'm guessing this is a shroud for the motor, and you could probably get an uprated one which is made of alloy or steel or something to act as a sort of heat shield. Or not heat shield, but heat sink, possibly. There's no word snap written on the instructions here, so this may not have the satisfying snappy noise, but it does go here. That's right, that was okay. There it is. Not bad. Not bad at all. Nice. And this is where we're going to deviate, because we have the, what are they calling it? I think they call it the counter gear, which is this here. Comes with it. The upgraded gear set also has the same one. So I can use the red one or the green one or the blue one or whatever, or the black one to change the gearing. But we're going to keep the gearing standard. But this wants you to use one of these crappy plastic spacers, but we're not going to, because this kit comes with a bearing. Not only does it come with a bearing, it comes with an alternative little shaft, little metal shaft. There's one that comes with this, and there's one that comes with this packet. I'm going to use the one that comes with the packet because they look the same, apart from there's slightly different hue to the metal. So it could be that there is a very slight different design. It's absolutely, I mean, it might be exactly the same in terms of the shape, size, layout, but actually the end of the one that comes with it is tapered. This one isn't, so there's a very slight difference. I don't know if that matters, but the point is this comes with the upgraded one and the bearing, so clearly they intend for you to use the bearing with the one that comes with the upgrade kit. So that's what we're going to do. That's what we are going to do. So we're going to put the bearing into the gear. We're going to put the bearing. Oh, it's all so small. With the gear, you know what? We're not going to build this thing. Idea: push this through there. Use that to line up the bearing. Easy peasy. Also obvious, but never mind. Take a swig of coffee. Now we should gear this up. Grease this up is the word, not gear it up. We should grease this up. It's actually got two gears on it. It's actually got two. You might see a sort of step. One, the inside has got, it could be outside, but I'm looking at the way I'm looking at it, it looks like the inside. It's got a larger diameter than the outside. This one seems to be all encompassing, so we'll give it plenty. Okay, that is it. Bit of movement in it. I need more grease now, it's all come off my fingers. I usually put them in place first before I grease them up, but that time I thought, no, we'll follow the instructions. Okay, and then turn that and get the grease on the spur gear. Like that. Right, part number A5, yet another Audi. That plugs in and then swivels down, does it? Goes in there. And swivels down, closes the thing. Does it snap? Am I expecting? Yes, I'm expecting a snap. No, that's there's no. Oh, that's supposed to go under there, is it? Yeah, there's the snap. Yeah, the motor's engaged now. Obviously, not the quietest drivetrain in the world. Detachment, I don't want to detach it right now. Rear roller stay. Now the rollers, I think what I've got upgrades are. I do. There's upgrade rollers in this. Good. Rear roller stay. Doesn't tell you the part number, but it's this black one here. Screws go under there. Yeah, screws there. Well, oh, it is a diffuser. It's, although no, it's facing upwards. How can it be a diffuser that faces upwards? That doesn't make sense, Tamiya. Diffusers face downwards. So you flip it that way, and then the diffuser, which clearly should be that way, but it goes this way. It's obviously not a diffuser. Not that it would have any effect whatsoever, but damn it, that's just how diffusers are. seamless. Utterly seamless. You have no idea, no concept that it's actually much later because the camera ran out of battery, and you'll never know. So, we finished screwing this thing on the back, and we're going to deviate from the instructions here for a moment because at this point we're going to put on the rollers. Now the rollers are what run against the walls of the track. They roll against the walls, hence the name. They screw on with these step screws and they're big chunky bits of plastic. But the upgrade pack, which I've had a quick look at, has more efficient rollers included, which will replace these ones. So we're not going to bother putting these ones on. So we'll skip that point and I'll put the better rollers on at some point. I might actually put them on now, but let me just do the next stage because the next stage doesn't get in the way, physically in the way of the rollers. And that is somewhere in this. It's not, there we are. We need to put double A's in the car. I have a couple of energizers here because I don't want to use some cheap nasty batteries. We'll use some good ones. If I was ever, I mean these have been in a transmitter, but I think we've been used once, and it's an 8 battery transmitter, so these will be almost full. I don't know if I've got any good brand new batteries, but if I ever did come to race this car from wherever, a meeting or whatever, I'd buy some brand new Duracells probably, or maybe a brand new set of energizers and do that. Let's see here. A7, yes, another Audi, and snap this in place. This one has a very big word snap with capital letters and exclamation marks, so I'm expecting a good, satisfying noise. Wasn't the snap I expected, but it's in. The chassis looks actually really quite mint, doesn't it? It looks really good. Really like the contrasting colours. And the white wall tyres go great with the plastic white parts. Now, at this point we'd be putting the shell on. I think we should leave that last and do the rollers first. So with the roller instructions here, this is the upgrade kit. And it's got some really nice parts. I think they look like carbon graphite maybe. Parts. And these are all the standard parts, we can disregard them for the moment. This is such a bitty build, but oh well, whatever. I'm enjoying it. See these they're only, I don't think they're carbon fibre, they're like carbon graphite or something. Nice, lightweight parts. Don't really know the point of them because it's not like you're replacing something with lighter parts, you're literally just bolting these on, but whatever. 2x5mm screws, we've got more screws in here. Okay. It'll look mint with some carbon fibre on it. Let me just empty all this. I think we're going to use it all, so I'm just going to have to be careful. And use my appropriate screwdriver. Lovely. And this part goes there. No. Oh, it does go there. It's got an overhang sort of thing. Okay. Weird. Very weird. I won't screw that all the way down right now because I've got to even the loads. Oh, that one's got a washer on it. It shouldn't have a washer on it. Pick one that hasn't got a washer on it. Yeah, no washers. If nothing else, these parts are going to make it look trick and upgraded. So that's good. I'm not really sure how I feel about all these bits hanging off the side of the car because it'll make it look less sleek than it would be without it. However, maybe a supervillain would have all bits hanging off his car, weapons to kill infidels and peasants and such, so maybe that's it. Right, these are all the same, I think, these screws here. These are the rollers. Now I need to use a spring washer. Thank goodness, because I thought it was an E-clip when I looked at the picture. Spring washer. That goes up under here. Right, and we need a roller stopper, which what's that? when it's at home. That's these brass things? Little top hat things? Yeah, I guess so. Okay. Little brass thing. Oh, there goes something. Little brass thing there. Yeah, a roller. You know the rollers. These are nicer than the included there. Well, I mean, they're the same as the white ones, but see the small white ones, see the big ones there. We'll get rid of them. Does it have a top and bottom? Not really. So that goes there, over the top. Now you do get bearings as an upgrade for this as well, but I don't have them, and I don't think it matters too much because this isn't screwed down tight, so there should be plenty of free movement. Come here, washer. Come here, washer. Come here, washer. Yeah, almost. Yes. Washer. I can see where a bearing would help though, so you know I might in the future. Not that there's any point because I don't know where I could use this car at all. But it's the fact that you can get upgrades. But you can always get upgrades. Maybe I shouldn't be in that mentality, that frame of mind. Get a nifty little spanner with it. Socket spanner. Tighten that up. Don't want to tighten it too much. I want this to be really free running. Again, yeah, I can see where a bearing would be much better because I could tighten that up nicely and it would just be constantly free running. But there's not much friction at all, to be honest. At all. There we go. Little silver tube. Boom. Stabilizer ball. These things. Okay. Not too keen on this sort of flat red cheapy look because that'll sort of clash with my sophisticated metallic red on the car. But whatever, we'll get it built and we'll see what happens. See what it looks like. Rubber tubing. So I'd use the rubber tubing as a spanner to tighten this ball onto the end of it. That's weird. That is weird. Weird. Tamiya are weird. No, that's actually unscrewing the rest of it. So I'm going to use my screwdriver to screw against that. Odd. Odd, odd, odd. Look at that. Right in there, like that. Weird design. Okay. It's not bad at all. So, that's nice and secure. It's nice and stable and strong. And that has plenty of free running movement. There's not much friction there at all. So I just need to repeat that for the front. No, for the left front. There we are then, front rollers. They lean forward slightly. Looks like they're designed to. That plate sits at an angle. Yeah. Maybe the car leans forward while it's got no suspension movement, so but whatever, that's it as it's built, so cool. Number 3, rear lower rollers. So this we don't assemble on the car, we build it onto this first, then put this on the car. So we get another one of these long bolts. We've got to assemble that first before that. Okay. So one of them, washer, come here, thank you. Washer, roller stopper. There's another one. Just empty that out. It's probably one of them on the floor. It's probably what fell. Spacer. That's this nice little silver bits. Nice little silver bit. Like I said, it's like a little tiny little cylinder, really stubby one. Like that. And then a spring washer, which seem to be all wrapped around the bolts for some reason, whereas the normal washers aren't. But whatever. Come here, spring washer. Come here, spring washer. I've got no nails. There we go. And then that sits on there. On there. That's what I've made. Now that goes underneath to this one. Middle one? Yeah, middle one. Like that. So it's the lower rear roller. Now we need to do the upper rear roller. Spacer next. Wait. Okay, spacer followed by a spacer. That's weird. Do we have enough of those? Oh, hopefully. That can't be right. Oh, there's longer bolts. It's longer. Ah, drat. Got it. There's longer bolts than that. These are 35mm bolts. These longer ones. Okay. That's the longer bolt assembled. So that one, let's see if this looks better. Spacer. Followed by a smaller spacer for some reason. It is right? It is right. Yeah. Spacer, smaller spacer, roller, stopper, roller stopper, then roller, like that, then the nut. This is mad. Then the nut is the nut. Get that tightened up properly. Weird design. Weird. Tamiya are so strange. They're great. Tamiya are great, but they're so strange. Okay. And I think these are because you're not allowed to have any. Yeah, that's right. The rules of the tuned class, and maybe all the classes, but certainly this class, means you're not allowed to have any protruding bolts, which is why you've got to use these thingies. And they're basically covers, because maybe because these things can fly off the track at high speed, and maybe also I've lost that piece of rubber tubing that I've been using as a screwdriver. Right, there's the rear rollers on one side. Fair enough. Again, repeat the process. There are rear rollers assembled. Does look like it should have some guns mounted to it, doesn't it? Hanging off the back of this car. Anyway, part number 4. Come on, 4. 2 by 5mm screws. Put them there. Well, it's not going to work. I need that. That will up. That way up, I guess. Yep. It's on the back of the truck, like how? Okay. Let's get on that. Pick up everything so we can hardly pick it up. Right. That one. To the top of that. Into there. Nip that up a little bit. It's a bit stable at the moment. That. Let's go through that one. Into there. There we are. And the corresponding ones. It's quite an involved little thing, isn't it? It's not just a case of I mean, I knew it wouldn't. I knew it would be. I knew it wouldn't be just a case of just clipping it together quickly. But there's a lot going into it, which is good because it's the whole point. As I said before, was there'd be little point in having the competition in the pit lane if there wasn't a lot of customization and adjustment on it. There has to be lots of options. Otherwise, what's the point? But I bet it didn't start this complicated when it first started off with the early chassis. I bet they were less involved in this. It's just sort of evolved as the hobby has moved forward and the competition for these things has moved forward. Yeah, there's the bumpers. It does look quite trick with sort of almost carbon fibre, sort of carbon graphite idea. Now this is what confused me, and that is the FMA chassis, which is what this is the front motor chassis. So there it is there. It's supposed to have slightly forward weight bias, although the batteries are heavier, so it's not much in it. Because it was supposed to have a benefit to that. I don't know if it's more stability or more corner speed or something, but there was some benefit to having the weight in the front. But this upgrade kit, and this is an upgrade kit for the FMA chassis, specifically, not just for any Mini 4-wheel drive, comes with these brass weights, which are mounted at the back. Stabilizer balls. And the stabilizer, they call it stabilizer balls, but they're, oh no wait, that's the stabilizer balls, the plastic thing. These are just called weights, brass weights. And they are supposed to, and I quote, what's the front of this? It says it on the front. Restrains the machine's rebound movements to increase stability. So if adding weight to the back increases stability, why are you trying to sell me a front mounted motor car which is supposed to be better? That's the advantage of it, you see. But anyway, we won't question them. They know what they're doing. Are these the same? Yes, they are. So it's this spring washer. That is a spring washer, right? Yes, it is. So you get the bolt with a spring washer. The weight has a recess on the back. See, it's a recess on the back. The front is completely smooth, but the back's recessed. So the nut must go up into the back of it. This goes up here from the bottom against the spring washer. You then put the nut on, tighten that down. I have to go all the way down with this. Okay. Then the nut should go into the recess of that weight. It sits like that. Nope, that can still turn. Don't know what the benefit of that is, but it can still turn. But then this brass thing doesn't get secured from the top. You literally just put one of these red plastic balls on the top of the bolt to keep it legal, so there's no protruding bolts. And then that's it. It just sits there with the ability to slide up and down. Why? And where did that go? So that goes there. Use the bit of tubing because why not? Tighten that up. Is that turning the bolt or not? No, good. See, that weight can just move back and forward freely. Don't see the point in that. Just tighten that up anyway until it stops. And that's that. So that just can do that. That's how it is. I can feel that weight, and there's only one of them, but it's considerably leaning towards the back now. I mean, if okay, the center of gravity is still slightly further forward compared to, you know, well, I mean, it's compared to what it was. It's now leaning to the back, but it is still slightly further forward. Not by much. There, it starts leaning to the back. So about there. Oh, but there's even roughly. That's only with one weight. Now add an extra brass weight to this thing. It's going to shift it again. It might even slightly be rear biased. It shouldn't, because that's not the design of this. This car is supposed to be front biased. It's the whole selling point of this particular chassis. Goodness knows. I'm hoping, because these brass weights can be moved around, because with different bodies, you get all sorts of bodies for these things. You get, you know, LMP1 prototypes, you get futuristic looking fake prototypes. And when I say LMP1, I don't think they're licensed, but you can tell what they're supposed to be. You get normal looking cars, taxis, you get vintagey cars, you get modern cars, you get all sorts. And they all have slightly different lengths and things, so you can move these weights around so they can clear the body shell. Hopefully this one is a medium length body shell, so it'll fit straight away and I don't need to undo what I've done here already. We'll see, we will see. And there we go. I think that's it complete basically. What have we got here? Parts list. I think it's just got extra parts as well. I'm sure it did say it had some extra, because there's some extra supply in there. Extra parts also included, yeah. Okay. So that's the upgrade finished. Is that the chassis finished? Just need to put the body shell on now, I think. We've done all that. Insert a hook first. Is there a hook on the body shell, is there? There is. There's a hook there. So we insert this first, like that, and then what? It just sits down. Ooh. Yeah, that's hooked. That's definitely hooked. Now, we need to put, before I have a good look at it, I'm trying to ignore it right now. A1, our final Audi, is this, which holds the body shell on at the back, I believe. How does this go on? It goes on sideways, and then we rotate it. Now, that's from an upside down perspective, so we do, it would have been easier without the, definitely easier with the thingy. And will it snap in place? There it is. There it is. It is complete. Oh yeah, let's just look at that. I don't make a mess. Show your face. It's fine. Looks great. Right. What do you think? What do you think? I think it would look better without all the crap. But it does kind of look like a James Bond villain car with gadgets sprouting from it, ready to launch rockets or use machine guns or whatever. Let's try this weight balance. Ugh. Again, it's slightly forward, almost down the middle though. There's very little in it really. It looks great. I love the white wall tires. Again, it would look, if you unbolted those, all these bits, you could probably do that when it's in storage, to be honest. Yeah, I could take out 4 bolts. These two, would it be those two? No, there's more to it than that. The front's kind of destined to have the bits on it. The back, you could take out these 2 bolts and remove the whole shebang. Maybe no, 2 at the top as well. So 4 at the back to remove the whole thing. The front's moulded in. There's nothing you can do about it. There it is. There's my wee race car. What do you think? It does look good. It does look good. I'm gonna have to get used to all the crap going on, but it looks great. Let's see. Does it turn on and run? Yes, it does. I don't want to try it on the table because I'll just, and I'll never catch it. I think it's a little brush motor, so it'll probably get quicker as it beds in. There we are. Oh, it reminds me of double O gauge trains, that smell. Or Electrics. It smells like that as well, sort of sparking of the brushes. So what do you think? What do you think of my Tamiya Mini 4-wheel drive? Think it looks awesome? I failed to have the wheels. That's so unvillainous. I failed to have the wheels with the symbols at exactly the same point, which is a shame. If I'd thought about that, I could have had them all absolutely exact. So when that JC is sticking up right, you can see that one's not for the Japan Cup. But anyway, that's fine. Apart from that, I'm happy with that. It looks great. I don't want to pull these off. If I pull these off, bear in mind, like I said before, the plastic is basically self-tapped by the hex-shaped bar that goes into it, the shaft that goes into it. If I pull that off and try and reposition it, I am going to knacker the wheels. There's no two ways about it. So it's staying like this. The Baron is looking sinister. He's looking armed. I like the fact that it reminds me of you've seen a hopped up VW air-cooled flat 4 engine. You can see the sort of white plastic in the back there. Looks like the engine cover. Anyway, yeah, it looks good. Not sure what the side parts are for. I guess extra rollers on the side, but it's not really necessary because the rollers protrude past them, so I'm not really sure what they're for. The picture has them there, so whatever. Maybe other cars need them there. But for this one, this is it complete. The Baron Viento is ready to conquer the world and cause problems for Her Majesty's Secret Service and all the rest of it. Right, thank you much for watching. Don't know when you'll see this drive, if ever, because it might just have to sit on display somewhere because I can't drive because I don't have a track. I do want to get a track built. I'll either need to floor the loft upstairs here and get a track built, or I'll have to wait till our next house. But in the meantime, until then, that is going to be sitting waiting for its maiden race. Okay, thank you very much for watching. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.